So in this video we're going to look at solving this equation here by completing the square first of all. So if you can't remember how to complete the square, you might want to look at one of my previous videos before you go ahead and watch this video. So I'm going to complete the square on this equation, and that's quite easy to do. First of all, I'll write this x plus, and I'm plussing half of this number here, so I'm plussing 1.5 all squared, and then if I take away this number squared and add on the 2 at the end, then I've completed the square. I just need to simplify this part here, so I've got x plus 1.5 squared. 1.5 squared is 2.25, so minus 2.25 plus 2 is minus 0.25. So quite easy to complete the square and change this into this format here. Now I've got it in this format, I could add 0.25 to both sides, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by adding 0.25 to both sides of the equation, and I get this. And then I could square root both sides, so if I square rooted both sides I would be left with x plus 1.5 equals the square root of 0.25. So I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point where I've nearly solved my equation. However, you might look at this and say, well, this is quite difficult to evaluate the square root of 0.25. Well, the square root of 0.25 is the same as the square root of a quarter. And if you know anything about square roots, then you know that that's the same as the square root of 1 over the square root of 4. And the square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 4 is 2. So the square root of a quarter, or the square root of 0.25, is simply a half. So it's not that difficult to do that. So now I can write this equation as x plus 1.5 equals a half, or it's the same as 0.5. And if I take away 1.5 from both sides of the equation, I get x equals minus 1. And in the last two videos, we had x equals minus 1 as one of our solutions. But you might be thinking, well, where's x equals minus 2? Because that's another one of the solutions. That's because in both of these two videos, we had x equals minus 1 and x equals minus 2 as our solutions. So how come we haven't got a second solution here? Well, what I forgot to do, which is quite common when we square root both sides of an equation, is I forgot to include the plus or minus here. If I give you a slightly more simple example, if I square root 4, many people, especially when they're younger, say the answer to that is 2, okay, because 2 times 2 is 4. However, minus 2 times minus 2 is also 4. So the square root of 4 has two answers, it has two solutions. It can be plus or minus 2. In a similar way, every square root has two solutions, plus or minus the particular answer. So I forgot to include this plus or minus here. And if I have a minus a half instead, so I have my x plus 1.5 equals minus a half, just fit that in there, then if I take away 1.5 from both sides again, then I do get x equals minus 2 as my second solution. So I've got both of my solutions there. So completing the square is quite an elegant way to solve a quadratic equation. Many people think it takes quite long, and often it does, but if you have, say, if you do that in, say, part A of an exam question, then it would be then quite easy to solve the equation in part B because you've already completed the square. So it can be quite useful and quite quick in some circumstances. So I hope that helps. I'm just going to do one more video on solving quadratic equations, so stay tuned. Thanks a lot, bye!